I'm begging y'all, I'm begging y'all, I'm begging y'all. Do not file bankruptcy.
Why not?
Here's three reasons why. They simply destroy your credit. Number one,
Actually, that's wrong. First of all, most people who file for bankruptcy have garbage credit already. They're past due on their debts, they've got lots of collection accounts, and some people even have lawsuits and judgments against them. Interestingly, the most significant damage to credit scores often occurs in the months leading up to a bankruptcy filing, not after. A study by the Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia found that credit scores significantly decreased 18 months before people filed for bankruptcy and then increased after filing. Those who filed Chapter 7 bankruptcy had an average credit score of 538 before filing, and that rose to an average of 620 after their debts were discharged. Similarly, those who filed for Chapter 13 bankruptcy saw their scores increase from an average of 535 to 610 after completing the process.
number two, it makes it very hard for you to get approved for an apartment, a new home, hell, even employment.
Let's break this down, shall we? First, getting approved for an apartment lease. Potential landlords are going to be less likely to rent to you if you're in debt and if you're struggling to make your payments. You probably also won't have the money for a security deposit or even moving expenses. Now let's talk about being approved for a home mortgage. If you file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, you're eligible for a new FHA loan 2 years after your case is discharged. If you can show that your bankruptcy resulted from certain extenuating circumstances, you may be eligible for FHA financing 12 months after a Chapter 7 bankruptcy discharge. And if you filed a Chapter 13, you can get an FHA loan as long as you can prove that you've made on-time payments on your Chapter 13 plan for at least a year. And finally, the issue of getting a new job. The U.S. Bankruptcy Code prevents a governmental employer from declining to hire someone because that person has filed for bankruptcy. Federal law doesn't extend the protection to those applying for jobs with private employers, but I can tell you from working with clients for nearly 28 years that it's far easier to get a new job after bankruptcy than it is with past due debts. If you owe money and you aren't paying your debts, you're more likely to be seen a security risk, particularly if you're looking for a job that involves handling money or handling someone else's personal information.
And number three, items do come back. I bet you didn't know that. It is not a permanent fix.
This is absurdly false. Once a debt is discharged in bankruptcy, it's illegal for a creditor or collector to report the balance as due and owing. Not only is it potentially a violation of the Fair Credit Reporting Act and the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, it's also illegal under the bankruptcy laws. How do I know? I was the first lawyer to win that case in bankruptcy court. Actually, I did it a few times in different bankruptcy courts. It's that well settled. The original creator goes on to tell you about her step-by-step program and her letters that are going to be able to show you how to magically remove negative items from your credit report. What she doesn't tell you is that the FCRA allows you to dispute inaccurate information, but if it's correct, you don't have any legal protection from having it show up on your credit report. So surprise, surprise, she's trying to sell you smoke and mirrors. Now, I'm a bankruptcy lawyer, but I've been doing this long enough to know that this isn't the solution for everyone. But there's a big difference between giving information and using this fear-based selling with total blatant misinformation. Learn the facts, understand your options, and make the right decision for you and your financial future.